Hey, good evening, everybody. It is a special Monday night. It is actually our second town hall, and this one is entitled our Head Start program. And we have another amazing amount of special guest panelists here tonight, all from our district and such, who are going to lend you their expertise, their knowledge, and talk about our amazing Head Start program here in Hillsborough County. So as we get moving forward, we encourage you, if you have questions, to send them in the chat. We will do our very, very best to answer those. Understand that we have a limited amount of time, which is about an hour, so we can allow our guests to go have family time and dinner with their family. But we do want to answer questions, and we do want to get a lot of information out as quickly as possible. So I am going to stop talking and turn this over to Alicia Oates and allow her to moderate our evening with all of our questions. And again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for your time, your passion, your energy, your knowledge, and everything you're going to bring tonight. Alicia, it's all you.
Thank you, Frank. And before I get started asking questions, I just want to let everyone know Ms. Gray, Chair Gray is on here with us as well tonight. Ms. Gray, did you want to say anything before we get started?
Oh, thank you, Alicia. And I want to thank the Hillsborough County PTA, which you are so involved with, and Frank Ray's, and I see Veronica and Anne Marie. I think the idea that you all are sharing what the district is doing in various aspects, such as Head Start, is so critical for our community. And that bridge is being built. I think we're doing it once every month, but the more we can do outreach, Alicia and Frank, the better off our community and therefore our children will be. So I thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to learning more about what we actually have with Head Start.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gray. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our first question is, what is Head Start?
Okay, so I think I'm going to start with that question. Thank you so much for having us on tonight. It's a pleasure for us to share information about the Head Start program. And so with that being said, Head Start is a national school readiness program, and we provide comprehensive services to our children and families in the field of education, health, nutrition, and parent involvement. These services are provided to families who are been identified as low income. So therefore, the program services that we offer are offered at no cost to our families who participate in the program. As I said, Head Start is a national program. We serve over 1 million children throughout the whole United States and the territories. It's an awesome program. And we really encourage families in our communities to take advantage of it.
Thank you for that. So the second question is, how do you qualify? How does a family qualify to be in the Head Start program?
Okay, great question. I will answer that. My name is Veronica Pruitt. I'm the Family Services Program Manager for the School District Head Start program. And to qualify for the program is mainly just age and income. Your child would need to be at least 3 years old by September 1st of the school year in which they're wanting to start. So for instance, right now, they need to just be 3 years old at least by September 1st, 2021. That's how they qualify. And the income is based off the federal poverty guidelines. And that is given to us every January. They come out with a new guideline where they adjust the income based on inflation and everything else that goes into it. And we use that grid to qualify or to see whether or not families qualify based on their household size. And we look at whether they're receiving public assistance and a bunch of other areas as far as like being a single parent in a home. But mainly it's age and income.
So with that, with age and income, what type of documentation would a parent need to bring you guys to verify their income and the age of their child?
Another great question. They would need to bring us at least their child's birth certificate. If they don't have a birth certificate, that's fine, as long as they have some sort of documentation, such as like immunizations or physical showing their date of birth on there, that would work as well. But we would also need their 2020 tax returns for the previous year. So if it's next year's, just previous year's tax return, we would need that. They can bring in cash assistance, any type of public assistance that they're receiving, Social Security, income, disability. We need 12 months of that, those type of things, and proof of residence. We want to make sure they are Hillsborough County residents. But those are the documents we would need.
Ms. Pruitt, what about a family that's homeless and don't have proof of residency? How can they get into the program?
Another great question. Now, any family that is homeless, obviously they cannot prove where they live, but because of Office of Head Start, we have to make a reasonable effort to verify homelessness. So the way we would verify that, the district has what's called a residency form. So we would basically have the parent fill that out, and they would identify themselves as being homeless. And then we would ask for further questions such as, what caused you to be homeless? Did you just lose your job? Did you have a recent eviction? So we would ask for those type of things if they have them, so we can kind of verify the homelessness, so we can satisfy that requirement for our performance standards with the Office of Head Start. And they're considered categorically eligible for the program. So anyone that's considered homeless will automatically be eligible for the program, regardless of what their income is. However, over income families, we have to take an additional step with our grantee for verification.
Okay, well, that's good to know. So a family that is homeless, we have somewhere for the kids to go.
Absolutely.
So we can, seal that gap up with education. I like that, Ms. Pruitt. So what about a family that has a child with a disability? Or if the family, the mother or the father might have a disability and don't understand how to complete that paperwork, or what kind of services do you offer the family as a whole as it relates to disabilities?
Okay, now this is one of the topics that I love to discuss. Now with disabilities, we have a requirement with the Office of Head Start where we have to have at least 10% of our funded enrollment amount where those kids are identified as children with disabilities. Our funded enrollment is 1,812. So that's a lot of children, a lot of babies we need with disabilities. So as long as that family comes and apply with our program, and we can have any, if it's an IFSP or if it's a IEP and the IFSP needs to be converted, we will take care of that. I know I'm using acronyms here, so let me break it down. An IFSP is basically an individual family support plan, or an IEP is an individual educational plan. And those are used within the school district to set up, strategies and interventions to help support that child with that disability. And it could be a disability for health. Some babies come in with health concerns as well. So basically, we ask that any parent that feels or have a child with a disability, we encourage you to apply because we need your baby. So we can reach our requirement as well and support you, as well as getting those different services that we can offer as a program in a district to service your family.
Ms. Pruitt, I want to elaborate on that a little more because that's near and dear to my heart as well. Our babies who are behind, not walking or not talking
Right.
as the age requirements. Like, how do you, with the parents that are part of our PTA that are watching, what would you say to a parent who has a child that are, a little bit behind, but not considered disabled, or when they don't want their child in that category as disability? What would you say to that parent when they're to come be a part of your program?
So what I would say to that parent is any type of concerns a parent have, it's best to identify them early on when they're much younger. So whatever they're having as far as, speech concerns or developmental delays, such as what you're talking about, we can identify those issues or those concerns early, and that way they can start receiving those interventions and those services ahead of time. So that way, by the time they reach kindergarten, first grade, second grade, whichever, K through 5, those issues may be gone because they've received those type of services that they needed to help support them. So we would encourage them to go to Fiddlers to get the spoiled diagnostic, to get any type of screenings that they need done, or Child Find, so those babies can get those screenings done, evaluations, and then that way we can get the process rolling and get them in school. And then it could be just social skills too, where they can get around a bunch of children and start building upon those social and emotional skills. So yes, that's great.
And this is Paul.
I'm sorry.
Not to interrupt you, Ms. Pruitt. You did a really good job. And as a former parent who, and I thank you guys for inviting me to come on as a former Head Start parent. My son received speech and language services that's how I met Mrs. Bars as a parent way back in the early 90s. And he received speech and language by the time he got to kindergarten. He's the second born child. So by the time he got to kindergarten, he was ready. He was dismissed out of services by third grade. But I do believe, like what you said, is that early intervention is a key. And as parents, sometimes we may be reluctant because we just feel like, oh, they haven't been in school, he's not talking or she's not talking. But we know that Head Start makes sure that they provide that services if they have been identified as a child that needs some needs. We went through the Florida Diagnostic Learning and Resource System, FITLRS, and they saw some things, and he still was eligible to stay in the Head Start class. So, which is what I really like, because you have, he's around typical kids, but he's also around kids that have some form of unique needs. So I wanted to say that, and now he's 30 years of age, and I can applaud Head Start, because I was very afraid for my first child. I said, no, we're going straight to kindergarten. But by the second child, to see the services that they offer did help me as a parent as well. So, knowing speech and language, you'll think, oh, that's a little minute, disability, but it can affect the child as he or she grows older. So I just wanted to interject, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Ms. Pruitt, but I wanted to say that.
No, anytime. I truly appreciate that. Thank you so much for filling in as a parent, Ms. Thomas, and giving your feedback as a parent, because that's the whole intent behind Family Services. We have advocates. We support you along the way, the entire way. We're there in the meetings where we get ready to talk to the parent about signing off for screenings or an additional evaluations. So we are there to support the parent the entire way. So thank you so much for that feedback.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Thomas, for that information. As a parent, it's good for other parents to hear the process that someone has went through, so they can feel like, okay, someone went through this. It can happen. It can be done. Our kids can learn and achieve and be ready for school, right? So the next question for you guys is, how does Head Start provide parents with services and community resources?
So the way we provide resources, we're always trying to get into the community, building those partnerships with the Children's Board, with Eckerd, anywhere in the community where we can just have a partnership and a collaboration with them. So that way, whatever they're offering, we can bring back to our parents, such as with ASO, which is basically an administrative support program through Children's Board, where we can receive additional funding to support our families as well. So we partnered with them, as well as neighborhood services. So any family coming into our program that need that additional assistance, we will sit down with them and then create a family support plan with them, and then provide them with those resources. So we are big on making sure those partnerships are in place within the community. Anything up and coming, we try to be a part of, such as with Thaddeus. He's a football player. I forget his last name. I can't remember. My apologies. But we partner with him every year too with the back to school program. We're there giving information out about the parents, to the parents and stuff. So that's one big goal for Head Start. And every year we get the new resource guides through the Children's Board and the Crisis Center, so we can provide to our parents. So when they come in, we do a goal with the parent, such as like maybe it's going back to school to finish their high school diploma. So we give them resources where they can go and get those services done either for free, or if it's paid, we support them, and we have funding also to help pay for that if they need that support. So that's how we try and maintain and keep up with our community resources that we provide to our parents.
So, Ms. Gray, I want you to elaborate. Oh, go ahead, Ms. Gray.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, I don't know if Kelly Paris is on here, because I just came from the Children's Board this afternoon, and they are a huge proponent of early childhood, and we're now looking at neighborhoods, a whole neighborhood configuration where basically a community school that emphasizes the early childhood with the Head Start, with the health and wellness, mental and health wellness, with all the components that really draw upon the community, including the infrastructure of sidewalks, better roads. So we're looking at an entire entity. And that's why, we know, and this goes to Paula, you were speaking, what a difference it made, the Head Start program. We know that the more that we can expose the children to reading or numeracy as early as possible, fiddlers, peeps, the more success they will have by the time they get to third grade. It's exponential. But without that, if you miss that time period of Head Start, education, pre-K, etc., the child will be so challenged to get to the third grade successfully in reading and writing. So it is huge what's going. This conversation is so critical and important. And thanks. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Ms. Gray. So Ms. Pruitt, I'm going to come back to you so you can elaborate on that parent piece. I know you stated that you can help parents if they decide to go back to school. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Because that is so important, because so many of our parents struggle as well, or didn't finish school, didn't graduate, and want the help, but don't know where to go. So can you elaborate on that just a little bit?
Absolutely. So basically, the requirement is from the Office of Head Start, where parents have to enter into a family partnership agreement with us, which means we have to have them fill out an outcome assessment. And on that assessment, it's a series of different domains on there where we ask them questions about where they are in life, like, do you need help with parenting? Do you need help with nutrition? Like all sorts of things. So those different areas is what we use to identify a goal. Each parent must have a goal. So in speaking with them, like sometimes we have a parent that come in and say, oh, I want to buy a house. Okay, so if you want to buy a house, we create with you action steps and what you need to reach that goal. In your case, what you mentioned for me to elaborate on is going back to school, because we want you to be able to make sure you have those minor or those small milestones in place, that you reach them in order for you to make sure you are set up to reach those other goals that you may have down the line. So we do short-term goals, and then we can work on long-term goals. So with the going back to school, we try to make it so that way, you're successful, and the better off you are, you will be more successful to help your child become successful as well. So we want to make sure that the parents have what they need to give themselves the confidence that they need in themselves also, so they can be there to further support their children through school as well. So that's mainly why we do that as far as the goals, and trying to help identify those areas that we need to help them work on to be successful. Was that good, or?
That was really good. I love that. I love that. Like that, just because there's so many parents out there that drop their kids off to school, and it needs to be that relationship where you're just not dropping your child off to school, but you're receiving something too, coming into a partnership and agreement, so you can be successful for yourself and for your child. So I love that. I didn't know Head Start offered that. So I love that.
Absolutely. Yes.
And I just want to add that one little piece to that part about going back to school, because we really try to link our parents up with resources within the district where they can take GED or classes or prep classes or taking the tests. So we help them in linking up with those resources, and then Head Start, once they've done that and they need assistance with maybe even paying for their classes, we're able to do that as well. So we really are trying to support our parents in each phase of this and reaching those goals, especially that one in education.
Thank you, Ms. Bars. I love it. I love it. That partnership is what, we've been missing for a while, just building those relationships and those partnerships in the community, so it all links together. So where is the Head Start office, and how can a parent register? I know with COVID, everything is different. So is it now online, or how can a parent register for Head Start?
Okay, great. The way parents can register for Head Start is online, hillsboroschools.org/Head Start. And I'll say it again, hillsboroschools.org/Head Start would take them directly to the section for Head Start. And on the right-hand side is a radio button that says apply now. And the parent would just need to click on that, and it would take them to an online application. And basically, this online application opens up a portal for that parent to give us their basic information. So that way, the family services advocate can then contact them to complete the entire intake process. Okay. But it gives them the opportunity to at least get the process rolling. And we would encourage them to do that as soon as possible. We're or whenever they're ready to apply. We are located at 56 sites within Hillsborough County Public Schools, which is what I love because it makes it so much easier for families to be able to drop all of their elementary ed kids off at one location. Now we are, and I'm happy to say right now too, we opened up, or we will be opening up 2 new locations starting this August at Heritage Elementary, which is in New Tampa, and Kingswood Elementary, which is in Brandon. And those 2 locations have been requested for a long time from our parents. And I'm excited that Mr. Murphy, our director, gave us the opportunity this year to make those 2 happen for our parents that are out in those areas to get the services that they need for Head Start as well.
Awesome. That's amazing. Amazing. So can a child be in Head Start longer than a year? Is it just 1 year program or is till they're school ready?
So they can definitely be in Head Start for more than 1 year. If the child comes in at 3 years old, which we would love for them to come in at 3 years old, they automatically return for the next school year as a 4-year-old. And then that way, when they're ready for kindergarten, then they can go right into registering for their zone school or school choice, whichever the parent prefers, to go right into kindergarten. So definitely they can be in the Head Start for more than 1 year. And sometimes 3 if the baby has a late birthday. So yes, definitely.
So what's the difference between the early Head Start and the Head Start program? Is that those 3-year-olds you're referring to?
So that's a good question. No, Head Start is 3 years old and beyond. Okay. Early Head Start is the babies that are 6 months to 2.5 years old. Okay, because they start aging them out at about 2 years and 6 months. They start transitioning them out of early Head Start. So Head Start starts at 3 years old. So that's a good question.
So the early Head Start daycares, are they daycares or where are they located? Because
so there's at some are at centers and some are at home daycares. So it just depends. Our grantee has centers like a McLeod Center, which is out by Woodson. We have some that are located within private homes throughout the district, all over Hillsborough County. So it just depends. But yes, early Head Start, 6 months to 2.5 years old, and that's centers and daycare centers.
So if a family needed some early Head Start, wanted information, or had a child that meets those age requirements, they would either contact, like Ms. Pruitt said, either our Board of County Commissioners Head Start program, our BOCC program, or 2 of the other delegate agencies, one of them being Lutheran Services of Florida, or the Lutheran and what's the other one? It just escaped me just that quick.
YMCA.
YMCA. Exactly. So they both of those programs, all 3 of them, in fact, offer early Head Start services.
So you guys, Head Start are catching them really young and following them up until they enter into school. And that is information that a lot of parents aren't aware of because, if you catch it early, we are definitely preparing our kids to be more successful, like Ms. Gray said, for 3rd grade and being able to read and, do what they need to do to be successful in school. So what does Head Start need from the community to get the word out or get more information out about the Head Start program?
Go ahead, Cassandra.
Oh, okay. So I think just like what we're doing now, we just need to spread the word about early childhood and Head Start and the services that are provided and the impact that those services have on families. I mean, somebody like Ms. Thomas here, she's been a true proponent of Head Start and has spread the word about Head Start. I hear more from other people who know her, they know about Head Start. So we need everybody, we need to just spread the word about Head Start and the services that the program offers and how they impact families. And we we welcome people to come and volunteer in our program. And if they have any special skills or talents, or just to just spread the word, share their knowledge. I think those are the main things. I'm sure somebody else may have something else that they want to add. Anybody else want to add on how the community can make an impact and promote Head Start?
I can add to that. Volunteering, we know right now because of COVID, we can't go into the classrooms and stuff like that too. But a lot of our teachers have different type of things like reading to the kids via Zoom that they can do to volunteer their time with our babies. Just those different creative ways that we can think of that we can do, with regard to COVID, being mindful of that. But definitely the volunteer, because you don't have to necessarily have a child in Head Start per se right now, but anytime you want to just say, hey, I'm willing to come on and read a book, or to, I don't know, tutor a baby or something like that, whatever you want to do. But that helps to spread the word as well too, because you can get in and see something that you like and tell somebody else, or help us recruit. I love recruitment. I love people wanting to help me recruit. So I'm open to that, anything like that would definitely help.
So the teachers that are in the Head Start program, are they certified teachers?
If you don't mind. So yes, all of our teachers in all of our early childhood programs, including Head Start, are certified teachers. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy.
Absolutely.
So what type of, for like report cards, do the kids come home with a report card every 9 weeks, or are there assessments done, sent home with parents to know what level their children are on, what they need to work on, different things for the parent to also to do at home with the kids? Are any type of packets given out for that?
Absolutely. Yeah, there, Head Start, again, like our other programs as well, we all have a common curriculum. So for 3 and 4-year-olds, they have the same curriculum, whether in Head Start, VPK, or Pre-K ESE. But they have the common curriculum. They do have progress monitoring assessments. And like Ms. Pruitt and Ms. Bars have spoken about, that's really our primary objective, is to get all of our students up to where they need to be by the time they get into kindergarten, so that they are kindergarten ready. Additionally, having been a principal at a site, we want to have the relationships earlier. If I can have a parent for 8 years instead of 6, I mean, I feel that only positive things can come from that. It allows us to build those relationships. We kind of jokingly say, if we can get all of our kids enrolled in Head Start or one of our early childhood programs, we can essentially do away with the kindergarten boohoo breakfast, because they'll all be just ready to go. And we won't have to worry about that in the first day of school in kindergarten. But really, we have the opportunity with Head Start to build the relationships and the foundations for education, not just with the students, but with the families as well, which will hopefully, we believe, maximize the student's potential, the child's potential, and just what they can do in the future.
Go ahead, Ms. Gray.
Yeah, I had a question for Mr. Murphy. What are we doing, Mr. Murphy, from your office? And I know Veronica gave a little bit of information, but to make sure Head Start is absolutely throughout the communities a known possibility, an avenue for assistance for the young children of needs. What are we doing to, I want to say the word market, but for lack of better words, market, so the families know that this is available with how many sites, 40 something, 56 sites.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help but wonder, a lot of parents would love to have all these resources, but they need to know about it. And I'm including the Hispanic, the English language, who don't know the language. Mr. Murphy, can you comment on that?
Absolutely, I can. So the Head Start office we do a lot of things as far as marketing. However, one of the things that we are doing to shift gears a little bit is we are beginning to involve the sites more. The way that the program kind of ran before, it wasn't quite as like the administration at sites weren't quite as involved as we would like them. So we are absolutely trying to shift that, and not only with Head Start, but with VPK and with pre-K ESE, because these kids are going to be these kids are our kids, and we are trying to really put that out there with the sites as well. So what Veronica mentioned earlier on today about the parents being able to go to these sites and register, that is a tremendous step forward for us. It's our first year of trying that is in the year of COVID. So who knows how it'll go, but we're gonna try really hard. And what we've been encouraging the administration and kind of our standard lines to them is no one knows their community better than they do, or at least no one should know their communities better than they do. And when they do, kindergarten roundup, it shouldn't be kindergarten roundup. It should be new to that site roundup. So we have 3 and 4 year olds when really the site is going to be the best advertisement to get any student in. And so that's something we are really zoning in and honing in on this year, is to have that administration, to have that site really do put the word out for us. And in addition to a lot of the things that already, Miss Pruitt and Miss Bars are already doing.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. And thank you, Erlisha.
Thank you so much for that. So how can a parent prepare their child for Head Start? What can a parent do at home to make sure their kids are ready?
Well, I think all 3 of us could probably answer that question in maybe a little bit of a different way, but I will say what just worst case scenario, talk to your child a lot. The biggest gap that we have with our students that are coming in to all of our, not just early childhood programs, but kindergarten as well, is language development. They have to start to have conversations as early as possible. And really that's one of the key things and one of the key gaps that we are seeing, having conversations. One of the other things that the parents can do is enroll their kids in Head Start. One of our goals is to have our kids enrolled in Head Start as a 3-year-old, then a 4-year-old, and then the summer of going into that kindergarten year, we're working really hard on having every one of those, like Ms. Pruitt said, 1,812 kids use their VPK voucher the summer of going into kindergarten. So we should, if we have a student in a family for 2.5 years before they enter kindergarten, they should all be ready. We should be really moving those kids and those families forward if we can have them for 2.5 years. So we're working across these programs to not only advertise but recruit. And if a child and a family meets the qualifications for Head Start, we really want them to be in Head Start as a 3-year-old, want them to be in Head Start as a 4-year-old. And then again, that summer of going in to that kindergarten year, we want them to use that VPK voucher in that summer. So we could have 2.5 years of continuous service and education and relationship building before they even hit kindergarten.
Mr. Murphy, can you elaborate on what the VPK voucher is?
Yes. So VPK is a state-funded program that is free for all 4-year-olds. The parents would have to go online to the Early Learning Coalition to apply for the voucher, but it is free. So all you'll have to upload, and we can do that also. We can help families here at the home office for early childhood, do that process. A lot of sites are able to do that as well. And essentially they would walk into a site that has VPK, which is located on the district's website, and they would show that voucher and they would be able to enroll, if there's space still available, in a school year VPK program, which we do offer, or a summer VPK program, which we also offer. But we're really trying to work together with the programs where if a kid does qualify for Head Start, that's really our first choice, because we want them to have that 2.5 years. We want Head Start 3, Head Start 4, VPK that summer. But VPK is a free program for 4-year-olds. In the morning, it's a 4-hour program. There's a wraparound fee in the afternoon during the school year, but that fee is adjustable depending upon income. So it's $75 a week if there's no assistance. If you do not qualify for a free or reduced lunch, it's $75 a week. If you qualify for reduced lunch, it's $25 a week. And if you qualify for free lunch, it's $10 a week for the services that go through the end of the day, just like the traditional school day. But during the summer, because of state mandates in terms of the number of hours, it's actually a free program the entire summer, and that includes the wraparound services as well.
So in the summer, it's a full day instead of the 4 hours.
It's actually a 10-hour day.
Oh, wow.
So it's a real full day.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a long day. I would agree with you.
I'm trying to figure out how to get my 12-year-old.
Yeah, no promises there. That's someone else's avenue.
Can he volunteer or something? That's amazing. 12 hours, and that is really good. So in a regular day of a Head Start student, like, what does a day look like for them?
And that's what I wanted to share from the parents' perspective. We're hearing a lot from the professionals as well. But as a parent, it's 10 hours, but keep in mind, it's very educational. It's educational, it's play. Children are learning. So within those 10 hours, they're just not outside running around or coloring. They are really, really in depth and working on their motor skills, their socialization, how to interact as students. And it's really amazing, right? You see a 3-year-old and you're like, no, there's no way a 3-year-old's going to share with another 3-year-old. Mm-hmm. But in Head Start, you actually see that because the modeling that is being done in the classroom helps. And the redirecting, and also, like Mr. Murphy had said, he made a great point, the teachers are certified. So those teachers have the ability to work with the kids and get to their eye level, because it's all about relationships too with children. And so when Head Start hires their teachers, they make sure that they are relatable to the kids. And that, for me, that was my fear, putting my child in a public school Head Start program, not knowing, what they were going to do and what they were going to learn. But once I did one child, like Mr. Murphy said, then it started getting a trickle effect. So I ended up with 4 kids and, and other people's children that I know within the community, because they see the outcomes. And so outcomes makes a difference to parents, like, what is my kid going to experience in this classroom from, 7:55 in the morning all the way to 2 o'clock? Are they going to just be sitting there and you give them something to eat? No, this is not that. The Head Start is just an amazing program. Like Mrs. Barr said, not only does it help the children, but it also helps the parents, like Ms. Barr has mentioned. Me as a parent, I learned some things. My husband learned some things. He went back to school. They really wrap that family support plan around the child and the family. They do. It's true wraparound. And so I would say to promote Head Start in a nutshell is, Miss Gray, I would love for us to have a whole lot of marketing things. And bless your heart, you're just such an amazing school board member. But however, it's really word of mouth as well. And, I would love to see a Head Start chair on every street corner that says, enroll your child today. A billboard as we're all driving on 275, enroll your child in Head Start, because there is great outcomes. This program has been around for a very, very long time. And as a parent, I benefited, but I also see other parents benefit. But I also see how our children in the schools benefits as our children go back. And now they become teachers in Head Start when they was once a Head Start child. So I don't want to take the whole platform, but I just, this is the passion I have, because I see the outcomes that it has. So when you have a parent, he or she is, reluctant, and they're saying, I don't know, I'm just going to keep them home to kindergarten. No, I'm not going to do that. Say,
right.
Try to enroll. Go ahead, just see, and then they'll let you know if you qualify or if you don't qualify. And that's the beauty of it. Head Start do follow up. They will let you know if you qualify, if you don't qualify. I just had to jump in. I'm sorry, but
yes, Ms. Thomas, thank you.
Great
you so
testimonial.
Much. It's always good to have a parent that promotes your program, because, like she said, word of mouth. There's some great programs out there. But if you have a parent that is your walking billboard, as she says, you get the parents you need. And that's, Ms. Thomas is definitely an advocate for all kids. And that's why we love Ms. Thomas. Yes. So, and Ms. Thomas, I do have a question for you. How did Head Start as a family, how did it impact you talked about it a little bit, but elaborate more. How did it affect your kids once they entered into regular school?
Again, I can see the difference with my firstborn child who went straight from, home to school. And my children attended in the Sulphur Springs area. They attended in the Town and Country area. And then the last Head Start was Citrus Park. And I had the opportunity to meet Mrs. Bars. And, here I was a person who had no college education, barely had car seats for my kids. And, I was enrolling just to get some public assistance, some food stamps and some Medicaid to put my kids on. And there was a Head Start flyer. And I said, wow. So I was reluctant, but by my second child, I said, you know what, this keeps coming up. I have to try. And so seeing those children go through Head Start, I see the difference with my oldest child and the youngest child of Head Start, that it has made a true impact on them, not only educational wise, but citizen wise. You know what I mean? They have been very socially connected with the community, volunteering, giving back, doing the things they, want to do to help the community for a better community. So even going to college, Head Start, they have this play area where you start imagining what you want to do when you grow up. So one of my children would say, I want to be an artist. I like to draw. And I'm like, you like to draw? And you learn that from school. So what I did as a parent, I would receive what I've seen in Head Start, and I would emulate and practice it in the home. I didn't know how to do that, but Head Start showed me how to do that, do certain things. So I would say my kids to this day, I have 3 of them who substitute for Head Start, right? Then also one of them went to school to be a teacher. And the one who never went to Head Start, he was still a Head Start kid, even though he never was enrolled in Head Start. Because one thing about Head Start, even if he didn't go through Head Start, the whole family is Head Start. It's like a family network. And so I see that the outcome that my kids and other kids who are now, no longer 3-year-olds, they're in their 20s, they're really, really giving back into the community. And that's what we want. We want these kids to eventually come back to us and teach in Hillsborough County and be our teachers, not to go off to Broward, not to, Pasco, okay, nice. But when they leave our Hillsborough County Head Start program, I love to see our students return back as our teachers or our staff in any of our programs. So the benefit of it is the beauty to see 3 of my children still doing something, giving back to where they left. So that's my testimony.
Thank
I
you.
hope I was all over, but I hope I answered some of your questions.
Yes, it did. And I'm sure the Head Start team is, proud to have a parent like you be a part of their team, and also know that the benefit that you and your family receives from being in the program. So thank you for sharing, Ms. Thomas. I appreciate that. So Ms. Pruitt, I had another question from you from the chat. What is your job? What exactly is your job description, and how can a parent contact you? Would you be the person they contact for a parent if they had other questions?
Absolutely, they can contact me. Basically, my name, my name. My role is Family Services Program Manager. So basically what I do, I'm in charge of the team that goes out and recruit the families in the community. And we're the ones that come back and do the registration and the enrollment with the family. So we're the gatekeepers, so, per se. So we're the ones where basically we start to develop the conversations with the parents as far as what's going on, how can we help you, you know, and sometimes when we have a family come through and they don't qualify, we still give them resources if they need them. So we can give them somewhere to go that could possibly help them in the community if we can't help them. So I can be reached at 813-740-7870, and my extension is 282. And that's the number here at the Ellicott office, which is 4350 East Ellicott, Tampa, Florida, 33610. This is the early childhood office, okay? And this is where I'm located, okay? And if anyone want to reach me via email, it's veronica.pruitt@hcps.net. Again, veronica.pruitt@hcps.net.
Ms. Barr, same question for you.
Okay, thank you so much. Cassandra Bars, and I serve as the parent engagement specialist for the program. And so what my job entails is working with parents and ensuring that they are involved in all aspects of our program, from volunteering in the program to training, providing training opportunities for them, to having them involved. Head Start is really unique, and I didn't mention this earlier, that our parents are involved in the decision-making of the program. I've not seen any other early childhood program that mandates that type of involvement like any other, none out there. And so what we do is we have a policy committee that's composed of parents representing all of the school sites, where they actually come and make decisions about our program. We have to give them information regarding our budgets. They approve our budget each school year. They approve if we are going to have a new site, moving a classroom from one site to the other. This has to go before our parent committee before it actually happens. So they're really involved in all aspects of the program and the decision making. And so it's parents like Ms. Paula Thomas, who started out as a parent that came to one of our monthly parent meetings, and we talk to them and provide training and encourage them to be involved in that decision-making piece. And they serve in that. We provide training for them. We tell them or help them to learn more about how to conduct the meeting and Robert's Rules of Order and that type of thing, because our goal is then to have them move on to other phases of being involved in their child's life. So we encourage them to become PTA members and run and become PTA president like Miss Paula Thomas did, and to go back to school and just continue their education. So that's my job. And so I can be reached at that same number that Ms. Pruitt gave, the 813-740-7870. I'm extension 285. And so if anybody has any questions or want to find out more about how they can become involved in the program, I really encourage them to reach out to us.
So Ms. Barr, you stated volunteer hours. Are the volunteer hours mandatory or are they volunteer?
So it is not a requirement that parent volunteer in the program. However, we highly encourage it because we just know how crucial and how important that parent engagement total piece is into your child's academic life. We just know the advantages of it. So we preach it from the time they come in that it's not mandatory. However, we really need you to be involved. We really need you to go out into the classrooms. Okay, you couldn't go out, like Ms. Pruitt mentioned earlier, and actually be in classroom with your kids, but we did offer opportunities for them to volunteer virtually or to complete home learning activities with your child at home. Those things count as in-kind for our program. And so it is not mandatory, but we really encourage it.
Definitely.
And Sandra, can you speak to the part after you volunteer? One of the things that you guys do is you have a really recognition volunteer luncheon or something to celebrate, you know, your opportunity of volunteering. So I didn't know if you wanted to
Absolutely. Yeah,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
that.
So, um, as she was saying, we try to annually have an end of the year volunteer recognition where we recognize our parent volunteers or community volunteers that have volunteered in the program. So it's just a way to show our appreciation for them volunteering in the program. We recognize nominees for Parent of the Year, Male Volunteer of the Year, community partners that we have within our program. And it's just a fun way for our parents to get together, and we celebrate them and thank them for volunteering in the program. But like she said, however, due to COVID, we did not have it last year, and we're not having one this year, but we hope once things return back to normal that we'll continue that annual event.
Oh, wow, that's amazing to, you know, celebrate our families and celebrate
Absolutely.
their accomplishments. That's amazing. So Mr. Murphy, can you let us know who you are?
Sure. I'm the director of early childhood, which that has Head Start, VPK, and Pre-K ESE, all under that umbrella. So I work with each of those programs. And I'm also at the same address that Veronica and Cassandra both have stated, same number. And really, we're really working hard on having all the programs work together. So if a kid does not qualify for Head Start, we're going to have that parent go a couple rooms down and get them signed up for VPK. So we want the kids and the families as soon as possible in our district, because there's 1 year of your life as a 3-year-old is a pretty big deal. It's a third of your life, and it's a quarter of your life as a 4-year-old. There's a lot of learning that goes on. So the younger that we can get the child and the family to start learning to help build the relationships, the better off everyone's going to be, not just the family and the kids, but the school district as well, and the community.
Well, thank you guys so much. This information it was a lot, and it's a lot that I didn't know as a parent. So I want to thank you for taking your afternoon to share with the parents of Hillsborough County PTA, PTSA on the resources that are available to them in the community. And Ms. Gray, I want to thank you again for using your platform to let parents know what resources are out there. And we're growing. This is going to grow. We're going to continue bringing the information, and it takes all of us to help our kids. And this is just one step. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you, Chair Gray, for all you do. We talk a lot because I'll call you and be like, Ms. Gray, I need you to do this. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, I think you called me and I just saw it on the message, but I didn't listen to it. But a big thank you also to Ms. Thomas for being such a wonderful advertisement marketing tool. Wow, that's great. And Veronica, Cassandra, and Mr. Murphy, wow, a lot of time you just spent to help Earlisha. So my pleasure. Anything I can do. Earlisha will let me know.
Yes, Ms. Gray, I definitely will. And again, thank you guys for joining us. Frank, did you have anything you want to add before we end tonight?
First, a couple things actually. First, you guys almost have me wanting another child, but I'm still holding off on it. Okay. I got one that's graduating. I think you didn't do a good enough job, but gosh, what a bunch of great information. And I think the word celebration, celebrating was said a few times. I'm just so thankful for all of you in this school district. We're such a large school district and there's so many moving parts, but it's so great to hear the passion and the energy and the knowledge. And I want to tell you this, the heart that I hear you guys spread the information about. So thank you all for giving of your time and your abilities to be here tonight. And I definitely want to say great job, Earlisha. I'm always proud of you, but I love watching you shine, and you did an amazing job. So thank you for doing what you do. And we will continue as I think Ms. Barr said earlier, family engagement is so important. We will continue as a PTA to promote that, and hopefully we'll continue to be partners with y'all. So Thank you again. You all have a wonderful night. Have a great time with your families, and we will see you very soon.
Thank you,
you for
everyone.
having
Have a
us.
great night.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Bye, good night.
Good night.